The podcast for folks who are bold, who are not afraid to go out there and take life by the throat and say, "Come here, baby. Come here, baby." If you're a little sensitive, easily offended, don't listen because you'll just go away mad. But if you are of heartier stock, you can take a little criticism, you can be introspective. This may be one of the best podcasts that you've ever heard in your life. And with that, let's jump into it. Quantitative hustling, the metrics of money. You see out there right now that a lot of people are suffering. They are hurting. The economy is only getting better for certain people. This is my thoughts on the subject. We are in the midst of a fundamental technological change that is creating not replacement, but displacement. If your job can be done by an algorithm, you're in trouble at some point in the future, and the future is moving fast. With that, just me, my thoughts. I believe if you are not a business owner and you have a job, at a minimum, you need some type of side income opportunity that will teach you business skills in case your job says, "See you, don't want to be you, pink slip city." Harvey McKay wrote a book a long time ago, "Dig Your Well Before You're Thirsty." I'm seriously encouraging you to start some business, to get some income coming in, to develop those skills, because what's about to happen in the next 10 years is really going to be pivotal for a lot of families here in America. Now, enough of the doom and gloom, because on the other side of that dark coin is a really shiny side, and that is opportunity. There's so many things that you can do, it's unreal. There's actually a return to quality. There are small boutique firms that are creating really nice goods here in America, and people want them because people are getting sick and tired of cheap shit. And when I say cheap shit, I'm not talking price. I'm talking price, quality, performance. Give you an example. When I first started on YouTube, I had a Toshiba laptop. At the time, it was at the top. It was the top of the line laptop. It was $1,000. Well, that laptop could not handle the rigors of rendering 3 and 4 videos a day. It just couldn't. I mean, it would get so hot, it would just shut off. I had reached a pain point with that process that I spent $3,500 on a Apple laptop with the i7 chip, maxed out RAM, and a few other goodies. That was 2 years ago. I hadn't had a problem. I can render a video on that laptop and surf, get email, check stuff, do all types of stuff, upload a video while it's rendering the video, because it's quality. It's quality. Other than a few software upgrade glitches, which corrected very quickly, and I should say self-corrected, I haven't had any problems with it, which prompted me to buy another Mac. And I'm going to buy another one this year. Why? Quality. But with that, let's talk about your hustling. Let's talk about your hustling. One of the things that I see with people out there in the reseller world, the business world, is their hustle is almost job-based. It takes a supreme, almost maniacal level of effort to get most businesses off the ground. Some people create something that's really hot, real snazzy, and it takes off on its own. And that's what everyone wants, but that's atypical. That's why those stories are so good. That's why they're so juicy, and that's why we like them, because they're not normal. It's like dating, with my 99% rule. 99% of the people that you meet in your dating life are not the one. But people get butthurt when they're not the one, when really, if you're looking at the metrics, what's happening is pretty predictable. Same thing with businesses. Most businesses take so much effort to really start rocking and rolling, and then people are butthurt after 4 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, and things are really not moving. I said it before and I'll say it again in this podcast. My first 5 businesses were turkeys, but the learning lessons were priceless. You have to understand, you got to qualify your hustling. You will have to put in so much effort and time for a few reasons. One, you don't know what you're doing. That's a good thing and that's a bad thing. Because you don't know what you're doing, mistakes are made. A lot of mistakes. But you get past that. Because the path of mistakes is what I call the hustler MBA. You'll learn so much. Don't be afraid of it. Grit your teeth, put your head down, keep moving. Because it's just the lay of the land. Time. Your business performance is not wedded to your bill payments. That's one of the biggest lessons I have to really break to entrepreneurs. So what if your mortgage is due on the 1st? Car payment on the 8th? So what? Your business may not be mature enough to handle all that. Doesn't mean it's not a good business. Doesn't mean that it won't be a good business in the future. It does mean that it is not big enough to do what you wanted to do. And usually you wanted to do that because you waited to the last minute to start the business because you got the pink slip. So instead of digging your well before you were thirsty like a motherfucker. And you digging, and the sweat is dripping down your face, and you're not getting any water, or you're just getting a trickle, and you're frustrated. And then next thing you know, you're out of the well digging game. You're like, I'm out, fuck this, I'm gonna get a job, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna move in with my mother. It's time. It takes time. But here are a few tips to help you reduce that curve. You got to get into the metrics of money. Let's take a fictional business and call it Andy's Apple Pies. And Andy on the side sells some magic jelly beans. That's an inside joke. If you watch my videos, you'll know what I mean. Andy's Apple Pies. Andy wakes up in the morning and he makes 10 pies. The ingredients for those 10 pies are roughly $100. So each pie is $10. And these are premium pies, okay? Don't flinch at the $10 price tag. These apples come from Malaysia. The juice and he puts juices in it and berries and nuts. These apple pies are slamming. And he sells those apple pies for $22.25, which is a profit of $12.50 on the front end, because he's doing it in his home and those costs are already there. But Andy wants to leave his job because he works for this soul-sucking corporation where he's just a number. But Andy needs to make more money. And he's like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Because he's doing $225 a day, but on his soul-sucking corporate job, he makes $500 a day plus benefits, which really averages out to about $625. That's what he's making per day in that soul-sucking corporation. But his enterprise, Andy's Apple Pies, is only doing $225, and that's not profit. That's gross. That's gross, because the profit's only $125. So Andy sits down with pen and paper. See, you need to know what your numbers are so you can tweak them. If you don't know what your numbers are, you don't know what your metrics are, you have no idea where you are numbers-wise, it's very hard for you to get a feel for what your business can do or what it's currently doing. So Andy, learned some things at that soul-sucking corporation. And he sat down and he said, okay, to replace my salary, I need to do $1,200 a day. I know many of you are like, yeah, he just needs to go to 6. No. Because when you have a business, you have to put in fat for the lean times. A lot of corporations have loans or whatever in place that make sure the payroll is always paid. If they don't have the money, they can borrow the money. That's not going to happen for Andy's apple pies. So Andy's got to be a smart squirrel and square away some nuts for those lean winter months. So he's like, okay, $1,200. But Andy realizes he can't do that in his kitchen. But he says he can move his efforts up by the power of 4. Okay, so now he's making 40 pies, but he's getting up 3 hours earlier. He's spending more, he's getting a break on ingredients because he's buying in bulk. His wife is looking at him crazy. What is up with you and these apple pies? Keep your job, Andy. But Andy keeps going. He keeps going. So now he's making 4 times as much money. He's making $500 a day profit. The pies are flying off his website. See, Andy has an agent, of secret squirrels that come by and pick up the pies and they deliver them. And the squirrels work cheap. Squirrels work really, really cheap. So his profit margins stay pretty fat. Andy keeps doing this for 6 months. He's about to keel over from the massive effort. He's not even fucking his wife, and she's not happy. But he looks in his bank account, and he has enough money to go out and rent a space and get a commercial kitchen. But he calculates the numbers, he does some stuff, and instead of going out and renting, which he could, he finds a restaurant, he brokers a deal with the restaurant, and he starts cooking his pies when they're closed. But now he has the power to do that times 4 more, since he now has the commercial kitchen. And he actually gets one of the chefs from the restaurant to work with him. So he now has an employee. But now he went from 4, so he's doing 160 pies a day. But hold on. Andy's bank account is getting fat, and it's now that he is an employee, he's been able to step away from the pies because he's got the employee and an assistant. So he just tells them what to do. The agency of secret squirrels come by on their bike, swoop up the pies, deliver the pies. Everything's working like clockwork. But Andy learned a few things at the soul-sucking corporation. He's very much so in a position to go out and rent a spot, but he continues to stay at the restaurant to the point that he's there 7 days a week because his rent deal with the restaurant is significantly less than what he would pay to have his own spot, which enables him to continue to stack chips. One of the things that entrepreneurs do is they leap with no parachute. Andy is not going to leap without a parachute. So he's stacking money. He's fucking his wife. She gets pregnant. But he's not worried because he still has his job at the soul-sucking corporation for health benefits. And he's got a few $100,000 cash in the bank. Now Andy comes up with another plan. And he goes out and he finds another restaurant and he brokers another rental deal with the restaurant. So now he can do 320 pies a day. He is well beyond what he needs, and he's stacking. And his plan is things are going so well because he's got 2 chefs. Each chef has an assistant. They're making the pies. The squirrels have brought in squirrels from Florida, and they're doing this and they're delivering these pies. Now, the deal is this little thing that I told you about is you go with the quantitative method of expansion. Most people, when they start a business, contract, try to cut costs. You should cut costs if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you can't do it. But he went from times the power of 4 times the power of 4. And then when you get a little bigger, when he moves on into his own thing, it'll be the power of two. But essentially, what you have to do is put your business on a 6-month growth plan. Whatever you're doing right now, times it times 4. And in 6 months, times that, times 4 again. Will this stretch you? Yes. But you will not be broke. You'll have money. Because this is something I learned from working out in the gym. I don't know if you lift weights, but when you go to any decent gym, they're going to have these little weights. They're like 1.5 pounds. And then from that, they're going to go up to 2.5 pounds. An older gentleman in the gym showed me how to increase my bench using those little 1.5 deals, because he said you may not be able to move up every week with 5 or 10 pounds. Because when you first start working out, it's like, bam, you can go up 20 pounds at a time. Then it gets to a point where it's just like you think it stops. And he says, put these little diamonds on. That's what he used to call them. And every week, add them. You go from 1.5, then you go, because in your mind, you're just adding 2 pounds. But if you add 3 pounds a week, that's 12 pounds a month. That's 36 pounds in 3 months. That's 72 pounds in 6 months. I've done it. And it just blows you away, because the thing is, it's steady, but it's progress. And it's designed by, it's designed to get you where you need to be safely. And this is a very tried and proven way to increase all your weights in the gym. But it's slow. That's the problem. We live in a culture where people want to see massive results. So that's why I'm saying, take what you're doing right now, times it times 4. Give you an example. If you're currently putting up 100 items a week up on eBay, you need to put 400 up. And then in 6 months, you're going to put 1,600 up. And then in 6 months, you're going to put up 3,200. And then in 6 months, you're going to put up 6,400, which will require you to grow, to rent space, to do some stuff. But if you are putting up 6,400 items, and let's just crank that down to a month per day, but times it times 4. Like if you're currently putting up 100 items per month, the goal is to put up 400, and in 6 months put up 800, which means you're going to create problems for yourself. And this is why the metrics of money are so important, because the things that will make you money are the very things that so many young entrepreneurs shy away from. I don't want problems. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to ship it. You always want to give it to someone else to do the grunt work. Well, my friends, I'm here to tell you, by doing the grunt work, you will discover things about your business that you normally would not discover. Like, give you an example with shipping. I found out that by increasing our listing volume and shipping volume, we can make money off of shipping. Because this is the thing. When you get to a higher shipping volume, you can go to FedEx, you can go to UPS, and you're going to get an not an off books deal, but you're going to get a significant discount based on your volume. Which means, give you an example. We were using the postal service to send like items that were 5 pounds. But with UPS, that same item that we would charge like $7.95, I believe, for shipping, we were shipping with UPS for $3.25. But we were still charging the customer on eBay $7.50. So you multiply that times 1,000 packages in a month, that's $3,200. And nothing's changed. This is the kind of information you get when you blow out your business, when you push hard. And sometimes when you push hard, you're going to fall down. You're going to make mistakes, and you will disappoint people. But one of the tenets of my life is I'd rather know the bitter taste of failure than the soul-sucking stench of regret. You do it, you fail, okay, you know what the deal is. But regret, that shit lingers sometimes for decades. Just sitting and wondering, what if? That's not the legacy I want to leave for myself. But really grow your business. Another thing, if you're a picker and you go out to garage sales, up your money. Up your money. Get yourself, I don't care if you have to sell your television or you have to sell some blood, but get you a buying budget of $1,000 and spend some money. Buy some better quality products. Spend some money. Because I want you to think about this. You get your budget up to $1,000 and you spend $1,000 every weekend. And just say you really suck at buying and you're only doubling your money. You spend $1,000, you make $2,000, you get your original capital investment back of $1,000, and you make $1,000. That's $4,000 a month profit. That's not super money, but that's livable income money. That's money to pay a mortgage, buy groceries, put fillings in little Bucky's tooth. You can do that. And $1,000 is not a lot of money. It's not. So up your buying budget. So whatever your buying budget is, times it times 4. 6 months from now, times that times 4. 6 months from now, times it times 2. 6 months from now, times that times 2. If you push your business that hard, your money problems are going to disappear. They're going to disappear because you are working your business instead of your business working you. When you sit around and spend more time thinking about your business than actually being in your business is working you. When you're working your business to the point that your free time is like a good evening for you is sitting at home watching Netflix because you've been busy and your pocket is tight because there's money in it, that's working your business. You have to go for elevated money. The metrics of money are real simple. The more people you serve, the more money you will make. It's that simple. I've seen people like, I'm going to get better products. I'm going to sell them at a higher margin rate. I'm like, good luck with that. Many people have tried it. But until you serve more people, your money will be fixed. So you have to think, instead of like, how can I protect myself and not spend as much money? How can I spend as much money as possible in the appropriate channels? I'm not saying take your money and throw it in the wind or light a fire, take your lighter and put it on fire. What I'm saying is learn your markets, know what's selling, and buy as much of that shit as possible. Push. By doing this, what I call 4 times 2 times 2, qualitative hustling. And to do this, you have to know where your numbers are. You have to keep records. You have to evaluate what you're doing. You have to keep an inventory log. You have to keep sales records and put all these numbers in the hopper. But I guarantee you, if you do this, your money problems will disappear because most people are doing the bare minimum. There's a phenomenon on YouTube right now. There are people doing 4-hour hangouts, hanging out and you cannot be properly running your business doing that shit. You can't. And the thing is, I am in the information business. It's what I do for a living, and I'm not on YouTube that hard. Why? I have books to write, people to talk to, consults to give, business plans to write. I don't have time to be jacking off on YouTube that much, and I'm an information guy. I'm an internet marketer, not on YouTube, nor Facebook, nor Twitter that much. Because one of the things that you have to understand, often people use these devices as a way to procrastinate from doing the shit that they don't want to do in their business. And it hurts the business. Just conduct this test. For 3 days, not a week, but for 3 days, no YouTube, no Facebook, no Twitter, In the same time that you will want to go on Twitter, you sit down and you work on your business. And then get back to me with the results. I'm telling you, a lot of people get mad at me because they'll email me, and sometimes I don't email them back for 2 or 3 days. Because there's some days I just scan emails and try to hit hot stuff. But if I get bogged down in email, I'm not going to get the things done that I have planned on my development map. It's just not going to happen because there's so many. And, I have to do it because I want the business to grow. And for your business, you have to pull out distraction points. You have to get rid of stuff that's holding you back. Say you are a mommy or a daddy with little kids. You're going to have to train little Timmy and little Tina that, hey, you're busy. This notion of that whenever your kid wants something, that they're going to be irrevocably harmed if you say no, turn it into a game. Give them a cookie or something. Do this. It's like, okay, when mommy's in their office and the door is closed and you see the sign, you can't come in. And if you're a good boy, we'll do something special on the weekend. Train them to learn how to settle themselves, how to control themselves. This whole thing is every time they're like, you are creating a monster for yourself. It's not the kid, it's you. I'll tell you a little quick story. This years and years ago. I was dating this woman, and she had a daughter by the name of Taylor. Taylor was a cute little kid, but Taylor liked to sleep in the bed with mom. And whenever I came over, Taylor would start nutting up. And I took heart for the kid. I liked the kid. She was a cool kid. So one day, and it was a strange day because someone in the family had died, and we had all went to the funeral, and we were back at the house, and everyone had changed from the funeral clothes to regular clothes. And I saw Taylor with my suit and stuff, and she was taking my stuff to her room. And I was like, Taylor, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, you can sleep in there. I want to sleep with mommy. So I sat on her bed, and I put my arm around her. I said, what's the deal? I don't want to sleep by myself. I get scared. All right. And I gave her the big girl speech, and I was like, this is what you do. This is how you handle it. Made a little game, turned into a little joke. And then a few weeks later, I was hanging out over there, and she comes down, Mr. Glendon, like, what's going on, Taylor? I slept in my bed like a big girl, and I wasn't scared. And she gave me a little hug, right? You think that would have been a good thing. I'm going to tell you the downside of that story. Her mother was not happy with me. Nope. Nope, she wasn't happy. She's like, yeah, Taylor told me about your little conversation, and you don't need to be telling her to do stuff because you ain't her daddy, blah, 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 blah. Needless to say, that relationship did not go much further. But the whole point I'm telling you is, if you speak to children intelligently, give them faith and confidence, they can do a lot of stuff, and that will give you the room and the time to run your business. You're the parent. Just like you run the business, you run your kids. They should be doing what you tell them to do, not the other way around. And I see that stuff and it makes me giggle. But seriously, you can set up an environment in your home that's conducive for you and the family, and you just have to put some boundaries with the kids. So that's another thing that you can do. And another thing is marketing. A lot of people don't want to market. They don't want to sell. There's this notion that, hey, you make it so great that people will come find it, and word of mouth. Keep fooling yourself. Word of mouth happens for, once again, atypical products. It is not a commonplace thing. There's this little cake place that's close to my house. They nothing but bun. I love the place. I've gone there several times. I've told maybe 2 people about it. And the food's awesome. You got to understand, but they market. They have free samples. You have to market your business. Get away from that, I'm just hoping the word of mouth. That is, when people say that, in my mind, a word appears. It's called lazy. You're fucking lazy. Get over that shit. If, I'll tell you another thing. I'm a writer and I'm a member of a few writer groups, and that is very common. Just put it out, let the read know. If you had the courage to go on the street corner of any city with 20 copies of your book and ask $10, and if you approach enough people in a day, you would sell all 20 of those books in one day if you had the courage to ask for the money because you thought your product was good enough. There's a lot of people that don't sell that many in a month online because they're hoping for word of mouth or to be discovered. You have to push your business. You must push. You must push hard. And then when you think you can't push anymore, you push again. And that point will grow your little business up to a mature business that can take care of you and your family. And not just hand to mouth style, but I'm talking you can do the extras. You can take care of all the necessities and you can do the extras by pushing your business. Because if you're going to invest that much time of your life, why not go for the stars? Why not swing hard? Because Conundrum Publishing was founded July 17th, 2009. 14 months after that founding date, I was making enough money to live on. 14 months. Now let's talk about that process. The same process that I'm telling you about, that's what I used. I didn't go out. I didn't hang out. I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I had a booty call. I will be just straight up about it. And I would go out once a week, and this went on for months. If I hit certain metrics that I put down for writing YouTube videos, and if I didn't hit those metrics, I didn't go out. I put myself in timeout for not accomplishing goals. No one had to do it because the thing is, this is your business. This is yours. No one should have to tell you that you need to get your ass up and get shit listed or hit the streets or get new No, this is your business. This is your life. And that is what took me from nothing to livable income in 14 months, which is a very short period of time to start a business and be making that kind of money. And I'll tell you, it was 62 grand the first year, which is, yes, much less than what I was making in the storage auction business. And let's really talk about that. There's a lot of people that just don't understand. Well, if I was making that kind of money, let's really just take that apart. You don't have the fucking skills to make that money, which is one of the reasons that you can't understand. I have learned over the years that when you have a plan and courage and patience, you can get everything that you want. And I said it in a YouTube video. Yes, I gave up a few $100,000 a year to potentially earn millions. See, the life cycle of a writer is a few minutes before death. I did a study. There's a lot of writers out there with 20, 25 books. They're all, and this is the thing. Some of these folks are making money off books they wrote 20 years ago. A book they did 20 years ago, an act they did once that paid them for 20 years. That's fucking exciting. That's better than any stock I've ever bought. That's better than any investment I've ever made. Percentage-wise, you can't beat it. And that's the goal, because I write business books, I write erotica, I write poetry, I write short stories. And being in charge of a storage auction operation like we had, I wouldn't write nothing. It wouldn't be in me, because so much of my energy would go into the business, because that's how I roll. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it hard, or I'm not going to do it at all. That's just my personality. So I know that I cannot serve two masters. So I made a choice. Now, this is the part where many folks just trip up. When you ain't never had shit, when you've never made any real money's 150, 200, 300, 400,000, it boggles your mind that someone can give it up because you've never had it. It always looks much better from a vantage point of lack when you're looking at what you want. But you only see the front end. You don't see the back end. I mean, the fact that I can take time off to help a friend out, talk to my kids, do what I need to do. I wasn't doing that with the storage auction business because I was obsessed, just completely and utterly obsessed. And I can't go back like that. I just can't. But I know with the things that I'm doing and the way that this business has grown, that I'm going to make way more money doing this. And this would be writing and producing content across several different channels than I ever did in the storage auction business. But that's also something else that many of you just don't have: faith in self. I mean, it's real easy to say you have faith, but walk on it. Walk on it. Walk into it, hug it, hold his hand, and walk down the street with your faith. Are you walking down the street with your faith? Are you introducing people to your faith? And if you ain't at that level, then yeah, you'll never understand, because you're probably never going to get to a certain level because you're not going to work that hard. That's just the facts. That's one of the reasons. So that's my story. That's what I'm doing. I love what I do. Thanks for listening to the podcast. And if you really want some more information,